Now, here's a couple of interesting topics: relationship busters and relationship builders, beginning with what research has found to be prominent relationship busters. All couples face occasional disagreements, right? Such as those about children, sex, in-laws, or finances. The issue is not whether conflicts occur, they always do, but instead how we react to them. One of the biggest predictors of divorce is reacting to arguments with something called negative affect reciprocity. And the negative affect towards go to, give me a drum roll and I'll open the virtual envelope here. The negative effect towards go to criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. We all know what the first three mean, but what is stonewalling? An example would be the silent treatment. Another would be responding to one asking what's wrong by stating nothing, right? But note, this does not read negative affect. It reads on the slide negative affect reciprocity. The danger comes in when both partners respond in these ways because the mean-spirited bar keeps getting set higher and higher with this spiraling escalation. On the other hand, relationships are more likely to survive if just one person responds this way and the other person is patient, acting like a buffer. Working, living, or hanging out in environments packed with attractive alternatives can also be very difficult on a relationship. Think about a photographer working with young models, a college professor surrounded by attractive 20-year-olds, a legal assistant in a large firm surrounded by wealthy lawyers, interns surrounded by powerful politicians, a married individual who works at a singles bar. Research has found that a demand withdrawal interaction pattern describes a particularly harmful discrepancy in styles between partners. When one relationship partner reacts to disagreements by demanding that they talk about it, well, the other's reaction is to withdraw in order to cool off. It is important to note that there is nothing wrong with either approach, but the problem lies in the discrepancy, which can significantly escalate conflicts. The healthiest relationships result when both partners match in either demand or withdrawal styles of dealing with the conflicts. Okay, now what are some individual warning signs? People vary in their ability and motivation to get along with a partner, right? Research has found these characteristics to be of value as warning signs. First, emotional instability has been found to predict divorce. Those who are emotionally stable have more self-control and are better able to control impulses. Also, individuals who are both extroverted and unconventional, not one alone, but both combined, have been found to be less stable in their commitments. This is likely because the unconventional are less bound to social pressures against divorce, and if they are also extroverted, more likely to meet attractive alternatives. Finally, narcissists are notorious for being hard on their partners. They have a tendency to idealize their partner and then dump them when they don't live up to those unrealistic ideals. Also, narcissists are quick to dump a partner if a higher status one becomes available. So what can we do to create super relationships? Here are some relationship builders. First, perspective taking. Take time to really learn, understand, and care about your partner's point of view. Remember, the actor-observer effect, that's a tendency to attribute your partner's negative behaviors and emotions to their disposition and disregard important situational causes. Taking special care to think from your partner's point of view can counteract this fundamental bias. Next, healthy communication. This involves talking rather than confronting, talking rather than accusing, giving feelings instead of name-calling or accusing. So instead of calling your partner blankety blank, try something like this. When you are late and don't call, it makes me feel frightened that something happened to you. Or, when you are late and don't call, I feel like my feelings aren't being considered. Also, when conflict is in the air, actively seek other ways to reward each other in other areas of the relationship. This is one advantage of knowing someone well enough to know what melts him or her in particular. A romantic dinner out, a massage, flowers or chocolate, tickets to the Super Bowl, special sexual attention. When conflict is in the air, actively seek out other ways to reward each other in other areas of the relationship. And research in social psychology can provide another piece of valuable advice. Seek out novel shared experiences. New experiences that prompt something called I-sharing in particular, are powerful bonding mechanisms. What is I-sharing? You know how a single expression can communicate a lot, right? Especially when you know someone really well. I-sharing is when two people have the same shared reaction to something and they communicate this with each other, oftentimes with a single expression meant only for the other, could even be across a room. It could be a wink, it could be an eye roll, or in this pictured case, a dubious look. The Obamas briefly shot at each other while reacting to another speech. So, if in one of my in-person classes, you and a classmate exchanged an eye roll after one of my jokes, you just might be falling in love. I-sharing. So novel experiences that prompt I-sharing in particular are powerful bonding mechanisms. In a very cute study we will call the crawling creatures study, couples were brought into a matted floor gym, tied to each other at the wrists and ankles. Then they had to crawl on their hands and knees to the other end of the room, all the while carrying a pillow between their bodies. Other couples were given a more mundane task. Later, all the couples rated their satisfaction with their relationships. As predicted, the couples who had laughed and struggled together in this silly task reported more satisfaction with their relationships. Notably, this was just one very different shared experience. This suggests that a steady, changing diet of new shared experiences can keep the flames of love alive.